What's up guys, my name is Adrian Rivera and today I'm going to be showing you how to make music for free using only your phone, a computer, and this completely free program right here called Audacity. Now let me show you what we're going to be ending up with.
They try to show up, take you away from me, but keep this in mind, I'll be a guy, you won't be lonely. I showed you all my love, you show some back for me. I love you for life, you won't be lonely.
Alright, so as you can see with the things we're going to be using, this sounds pretty decent. Now, I want to let you know that this isn't going to be a permanent solution to making music. Definitely, if you're serious about making music, you're going to need to upgrade to an actual music making program, which is called a DAW or DAW, and invest in a good quality microphone so that you can have good vocals for when you record. But with all that being said, make sure to leave a like, guys, subscribe if you want to see more of this content, and make sure you follow me on Twitter and Instagram, especially Instagram, because I'm going to be posting these tutorials on my new Instagram TV channel, so go ahead, check that out. But without further ado, let's get started with this tutorial. So first things first, what we're going to need to do is download Audacity. Now Audacity is going to be the program that we put all of our audio files into so that we can edit them and make the whole song. This is going to be the program that we use to manage everything. When you download Audacity, it's probably going to look different than mine, and that's because you might have a more updated version of Audacity, but that's not going to change any of the features. Everything that I say will still apply to you, so don't worry about that. Here's the website link, but I'll be putting the link in the description as well. So first things first, Audacity is what you download. Afterwards, we're gonna need to find a beat for you to use. The website I used to get the beat for this tutorial was BeatStars. If you make an account, now actually I don't even think you need to make an account, but if you have an account with BeatStars, you go down to free beats, choose whatever genre you want. I clicked under pop, went onto hip hop, and then I found this Drake type beat, and that's the beat I used for this song. But you can see here, you can download these songs. Make sure that when you're downloading these songs, you respect the person that made this beat. If you decide to sell that song on iTunes or Spotify, or even like put it on a CD and sell those CDs, you can get in a lot of trouble if you didn't buy the license for that song. As you can see, there's a buy button right here underneath the audio file of the song. That's so you could get a license in order to sell the song as your own. And if you don't, you could get in a lot of legal trouble with the person that made this beat. So make sure that if you're ever going to sell this song, you buy the beat. But if you're planning on putting this out on SoundCloud or YouTube to start a portfolio for yourself, you can just click the download button right here. But make sure that if you're putting this on YouTube as well, you don't monetize the video, because that's still making money off of the song. Now, I have a friend named Press that's been doing this stuff for a long time, and he's been using beats as well. And I asked him what ways he's got his beats from. So he told me if you go onto YouTube and you search up free hip hop type beats, or like whatever type of beat you want to use, you have a lot of videos that'll come up with a lot of free beats that you could be using. So this is what he did. He would just search up whatever beat he wanted to use. He'll find one that he liked and he would download it from there. Or if it didn't have a download link, he would go to a website that converted YouTube videos into MP3 files. But like I said, make sure that you buy the license of the song before you monetize it or anything like that. Another thing you could do is go onto SoundCloud and search free hip hop beat. There's a lot of people that are putting their music on SoundCloud for free. Same thing still applies. You need to make sure that you're buying a license before you sell the song anywhere, like Spotify, iTunes, or even like on a CD. Remember, if you're using these free beats, only put them out for free. Now, if you're a more creative type of person and you don't like using other people's beats, and I know I'm one of those people, I don't really like using beats. I like sampling stuff, but I don't really like using somebody's pre-made beat. What you can do is you can get an app on your phone that allows you to create beats, and there are actually a lot of apps for you out there. For iPhone, there's GarageBand, which is completely free and allows you to make your own beats, and you can export that, I'm pretty sure, as an MP3 file or a WAV file. I never really used that myself because I don't have an iPhone, I have a Google Pixel, but from what I've heard, you can use that to make beats, and that's completely free. If you have like an Android or something, BandLab is also an option. I'm not sure if that's available for iPhone, but I'm assuming it still is, so you have two options there. But what I would recommend using is FL Studio for mobile, because that is the program that I use on my desktop, and they have a mobile version for it. It's more of like a dumbed down, I guess you could say, version of the actual FL Studio, but from the looks of it, dumbed down is an overstatement. It still has a whole bunch of features that you could be using to make super dope beats. And if you look up videos on people making beats with FL Studio mobile, you can see the vast array of beats you can make with FL Studio mobile. It's definitely something to invest in. It's only like 16 bucks as opposed to FL Studio that's like about 100 bucks just for the light version. So if you're just getting started with this stuff, FL Studio mobile is definitely like one of the best options to go with for making beats on your own. Another thing you could do is search online for beat making websites, because I know there are actually a lot of those out there. But if you're really trying to keep this stuff free, getting an app like GarageBand or BandLab, or like finding free beats like this, is probably your best option. So after you have your beat downloaded, you can see I have it downloaded right here. What you're gonna want to do is open up Audacity after you've installed it and open up a new file. And all you're gonna do is grab wherever your beat is, drag it and drop it into Audacity. Now you can see that we have this huge waveform right here. This is our beat. And if you click play, you can hear it playing right now. So now if you want to skip through to parts of your beat, you click this little eye looking icon. This is the selection tool. You could just click through and see whatever part of the beat you want to. All right, great. So we got our beat, we got it into Audacity. Now we need to make lyrics for our beat and record them. So I got a free ebook out called Unlocking Your Inner Lyricist. It's all about writing lyrics in a clever way and all that stuff. I talk about literary devices that you could be using in your song. I talk about timing and how to get ideas for lyrics. So go ahead, check that out. It's completely free. Like I said, link is in the description. All you gotta do is sign up with your email and you'll be emailed a PDF file of the ebook. So these are the lyrics that I came up with for my song. As you can see, they're very simple love song lyrics right here. I just did the chorus because I wanted to get this quick out for you guys. Now what I did when I had the lyrics down, I went back to my song, I clicked play to wherever I wanted to sing, and with headphones I would listen to the song, get my phone, and essentially while I was listening to the song, I would sing into the microphone of my phone to make sure that the timing was right and everything like that. Now, a couple of tips for you guys when you're recording off of your phone. Make sure you're recording in a quiet environment so there's no noise around you or anything like that. Make sure that the room is also treated well. By that, I mean make sure there isn't a lot of reverb. Reverb is basically like the room ambience, and if you listen to when you're recording off your phone or something like that, you can hear sometimes echo from the walls of the room. So make sure you get somewhere that will absorb a lot of the reflecting sounds off the wall. So a place like this is like your closet or somewhere that has a lot of furniture and carpet. Just get into the best environment that you can. Another thing is make sure you're not super close to the microphone, because the closer you are, the louder you're gonna get, and then you can start getting distorted sounds if you're too close. So make sure that you're a good distance from the microphone so it can pick you up well and not distort you at all. And one thing you might notice is that when you're recording, there might be a lot of popping noises. Let me actually give you an example. Let's see if this works. So when you say things like P's, like whenever you say those P sounds, all that air coming out of your mouth is going to pop the microphone basically, and you'll get those pops when you don't want to. So a way you can do that, or a way you can combat that, is if you make basically what we call a pop filter using a sock. All you're gonna do is grab your sock, grab your phone, and wherever the microphone is, you're gonna put the sock over. Now with the sock over this, you're gonna wanna crumble up a sock a little bit to get more padding in front of the microphone. So something like that, probably a little bit more on the microphone itself, but you get the idea. Now, if you say the P's and all that, what's gonna happen is all that air is gonna be absorbed, all that shock is gonna be absorbed by the sock. You won't get those popping noises in the P's, in B's, and all that stuff when you say them. So use a sock. If it doesn't end up working with a thinner sock, use a thicker sock. And also when you record, make sure that you can export the file as a .wav file instead of a .mp3 file, because WAV files have a lot more information retained in them. So that means you're gonna get higher quality audio, and that'll just help you out when making a song. But if you don't have that option when recording, just export it as an MP3 file. It'll be okay. Just make sure in the future, if you can do that, try to use WAV files as much as possible. So now you can see that after I recorded all my stuff, I emailed it to myself and I downloaded it onto my computer. You can see that I have my chorus right here, but then I have a harmony for my chorus, and then I also sing the chorus up an octave twice so that I can give some stereo separation, which I'll explain later. Basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our vocal, we're gonna drag it into Audacity, click OK, and then boom, you can see that we have it in here. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna wanna line up the vocal with wherever we're singing in our song, because you can see that it's completely out of alignment. So this is around where the chorus starts.
Keep this in mind.
So we are going to click this time shift tool icon up here in the corner, grab this, and basically all we're gonna do is just drag it.
They try to show.
And then we're going to zoom in a little bit more with the zoom in icon and just see how close we could get it.
They try to show up.
That's fairly close, but I wanted to get a little bit more on time.
They try to show up, take you away from me. But keep this in mind, I'll be a guy, you'll never be lonely.
So that sounds good. So now you can see that before the chorus starts, we have a lot of this audio left over in the background. We have a lot of this unnecessary noise before everything. So if we click play, you can hear me moving the phone around, and we don't want that noise there. So all you're gonna do is click your selection tool, click and drag over the part where the noise is, and what you're gonna click is Control L, and what that's gonna do is that's gonna silence that part. It's gonna mute everything in front of there. So when you click play, it's completely silent. You don't gotta worry about any of that stuff. And we're gonna do the same thing with the ending of the vocal. So now that we have that there, what we're gonna wanna do is grab the selection tool, highlight over the vocal, and now we're gonna add some effects to it. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna click effect and then go down to equalization. Now yours isn't gonna look like this. What it's probably gonna look like is something like this. What you're gonna wanna do is you wanna click on graphic EQ. This is gonna just make things easier for you. And then you're gonna wanna bring the length of the filter a little higher. I usually have it around 4,000. Now let me explain what EQ does. Down here you can see that it says 20 hertz all the way to 10,000 hertz. Hertz relates to frequency and frequency relates to pitch. Basically what we're gonna be doing is we're going to be taking certain frequencies and lowering the volume of some and raising the volume of others in order to bring out and remove some of the bad or good frequencies in our vocals. This is basically just gonna clean up your vocal and make it sound a little more crisp. So what I like to do is I like to just cut out a lot of the low end from the vocal, because a lot of this low end isn't even relevant in my voice. My voice doesn't go this low. So cutting out everything here is just going to take out all of the frequencies that we don't need, that might just be adding extra noise to the song that we don't want. So now if you go down here and you click preview,
They try to show up,
you can hear what it sounds like.
take you away from me, but keep this in mind.
So that sounds a little cleaner. And if you don't hear what I'm hearing right now, it might just be that you haven't developed an ear for this stuff yet. And if you're just starting off, more than likely, you're going to be needing to mess around with this a lot more. But let me show you something a little more obvious. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be looking for frequencies that sound a little more like nasally, I guess you can say, because this sound is something that I don't want to hear in my vocals. So I'm going to be going around and trying to check for what frequencies make that sound.
They try to show up, take you away from me.
So you can hear
But keep
that
this in
there's an obvious difference there. Let me raise up this one too, just to show you.
They try to show up.
You can hear the nasaliness in my voice around there. It kind of sounds like I'm singing into like a cup. So definitely something that you don't want to have in your vocals. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut this around here. That should be good. And now basically what that's doing is that's lowering the volume of those frequencies so that they're not heard as much. It's going to overall make the vocal sound a lot cleaner.
They try to show up, take you away from me.
So that's sounding pretty good. Now what we're going to want to do, we're going to want to boost some frequencies that sound good to us. So for me, I know for my voice sounds very good around the higher treble range. So around 4,000 hertz is where it is. So if you raise this up, there's a lot more crisp, more shine to my voice, I guess you could say. If you click preview,
They try to show up, take you away from me.
it sounds pretty good. There's a lot of stuff about EQ that I could go on to explain. I made a video actually on how to mix vocals properly, and I use a program called FL Studio. I don't use Audacity, but all the things that I talk about in FL Studio can be translated to Audacity. So don't you worry, go ahead, the video is right here, check that out. It explains my whole process when it comes to making my vocals sound professional. Now once you find all the frequencies that you want to cut out and you want to boost, what you're going to want to do is go down to save/manage curves, because what we're going to be doing is we are going to be using this later when it comes to adding in more vocals. So all you're going to do is go click down to this unnamed, rename it to something that you want, like preset vocals, right? You're going to click OK and click OK. And now if you go down, you'll see that you have your preset here. Now I already did this beforehand, so you can see my free music video EQ right here. If I click that, you can see all the things that I edited to my vocals. I'm just gonna add this here. Click OK. And now if you hear,
They try to show up.
sounds a lot more cleaner. Experiment with that. Don't copy exactly what I have, because you have a different voice than I do. What might sound good for me might not sound good for you. So just make sure that you're applying everything that I'm saying to your voice. I'm taking that concept and making it your own. So after we're done with all the EQ, what we're gonna do is we're gonna add a compressor. So we're just gonna do the same thing. We're gonna highlight our vocal, go over to effect, and then we're gonna go over to compressor. Now what a compressor does is it takes the loud parts of your vocal and the quiet parts of your vocal and kind of squashes it down a little so that the dynamic range between them is a lot more smooth. This is so you can bring your vocal a little more presence within the whole entire song, so that it doesn't sound drowned out by the rest of the beats. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna mess with the threshold right here. Threshold basically tells you at what volume does the compression start. So now you're gonna want to experiment a little bit with this. Usually I'll start off with putting my threshold down to 29, and now I'm going to set my ratio to around 2:1 to 2.5. What ratio means is that for every X decibels above the threshold, 1 decibel will be put out, and decibels is how we measure volume. So for every 2 decibels, those 2 will be converted down to 1 decibel. So the volume of everything is basically half. You can think of this as the intensity of your compression. The higher the ratio, the more squashed everything will sound, and the lower, obviously, if it's like a 1-to-1 ratio, nothing's gonna happen. So I like to keep mine around 2 to 2.5, 3. Usually industry standard is around 2-to-1 for vocals, but you can mess around with that and see what works for you, because like I said, what might work for me might not work for you. So we're just gonna add this in.
They try to show up, take you away from me, but keep this in mind.
Now you can hear that sounds a lot more level. So now after you have your EQ and your compressor, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna click effect, and then we're gonna go down to reverb. So now what reverb is basically like the room ambience, like how much echo there is in a room. And as you can see, or as you can hear, this room has its own room ambience. This won't echo. If I say something, well, actually you might not hear because I have like a noise gate on here. So, but in essence, whenever you record or something like that, you can hear the room echo. And let me actually just play this for you.
They try to show up.
So as you can see, it adds like an ambience, a room echo to your vocals. So now you can mess around with this all you want. The room size is like how big the room is. Pre-delay is how long it takes for the echo to kick in. Reverberance is how much reverb there is. Damping is like, I would say, the sound of the reverb. Tone low and tone high is the tonality of the reverb. So if you want a lower tone or a higher tone, you can mess around with that. Wet is the overall effect of the reverb, so you can change how much of the reverb you hear. And dry is the vocal itself without the reverb, so you can change how much of that you hear. And stereo width is how wide it sounds in your headphones. So if you bring down the stereo width to 0, it'll sound right in front of you. If you bring the stereo width to 100, it sounds more spacious and around you. So what you could do is you could load some presets here. You can see there's vocal 2, and you could click preview and see how you like that.
They try to show up, take you away from.
Or you can mess around and do it yourself. What I did for the preview that I showed you guys is I messed around with it myself. But listening back to this vocal 1 sounds pretty good. So I'm liking the sound of vocal 1, but I think I'm gonna add a little bit more reverberance and a little more room size.
They try to show up, take you away from me, but keep this in mind.
We're gonna click OK.
They try to show up, take you away from me, but keep this in mind. I'll be a guy, you'll never be lonely.
And obviously I'm doing this a little fast, so you're gonna wanna make sure that you get everything sounding completely how you want it. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna add an echo to our vocals. So we're gonna highlight all this, we're gonna click effect, and we're gonna click echo. So now if you click preview,
they try to show up, take you away.
You can hear that it's not on time. So what we're gonna wanna do is we're gonna wanna mess around with the delay time. We're gonna do around 1.2 seconds and see how that sounds.
They try to show up, take you away from me, but keep this.
That's not about right, so we're gonna have to mess around with this a little. Say, let's try 1.1.
They try to show up, take you away from me, but keep.
That's sounding better. Now delay factor is how easy it is to hear in the background. So if we lower this,
they try to show up, take you away from me, but keep this.
I think that sounds pretty decent. So we're gonna click OK, and now if we click play,
they try to show up, take you away from me, but keep this in mind. I'll be a guy, you'll never be lonely.
So there you go, sounding pretty good. Now what we're gonna do is we're going to add onto the chorus. So remember how I said I put in harmony and I sang up the octave and stuff like that? We're going to actually add that into the song as well. So we're going to drag chorus higher up. This is me singing up the octave. You can hear right here.
They try to show up.
And by itself, it sounds a little funny, but adding it onto the rest of the song makes a pretty big difference when it comes to sound quality. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna zoom in and we're gonna try to line this up with the song. We're gonna zoom out, play.
They try to show up, take you away from me.
And that sounds good. So we're gonna do what we did earlier. Control L to silence, highlight, Control L to silence. Now we have.
They try to show up.
that. This is why I said to save the preset. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go back, click Equalization, and then you're gonna want to click down and click whatever preset that you had saved. So now I have this. I'm gonna click OK.
They try to show up.
And that sounds a lot more cleaner. And it's just gonna make the process go a lot faster. So we're gonna click Effect, click Compressor, and then add the compressor on there. Now you can't actually save presets for the compressor, but the good thing is that it saves the settings that you used last time, so just make things go faster. We're gonna click OK.
Try to show up, take you away from me.
So now we're going to go to Reverb, and you can save a preset and you can load a preset as well. But just like the compressor, if you just use this, it's going to remember the settings you used last time. So we're gonna click OK.
They try to show up.
So that sounds a lot better. And then now, last but not least, we're going to add echo as well. Click OK.
They try to show up, take you away from.
So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go down here to gain, and we're actually gonna lower the volume of everything, the total volume, so that it doesn't sound too in your face.
They try to show up,
and it's just in the background, so that sounds nice. So now I'm gonna add in the other higher part and the harmony, and I'll show you what that sounds like. All right, so I went back and added everything.
They try to show up, take you away from me, but keep this in mind.
You can hear I added the harmony.
They try to show up,
I added the other higher part.
they try to show up.
All right, so remember how I have these two higher parts, and if you're wondering what I did, I just clicked solo, so you can hear only these.
They try to show up.
The reason why I have these two is because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do something called stereo separation. There's a little cheat I learned. Basically, what you're gonna do is you're gonna put one of these all the way to the right, and one of these all the way to the left, and you'll hear
They try to show up, take you.
one of the audio files is all the way in the left, one of the audio files is all the way on the right. And basically this is gonna add a little more ambience, more room to your song. So if we click, or if we unmute everything,
They try to show up, take you away from me.
sounds a lot more spacious. Now, if I were to do this again, I would cut back a little bit on the delay, make it more quieter, because I feel like it's a little too present. And I'd probably add some more EQ to fix up the vocals a little bit, because I feel like the EQ is a little off. So make sure that when you're doing this, you're putting all your time and effort into making it sound as good as possible. But after you're done with everything, what you're gonna want to do is go to File, Export Audio, and then you would export this audio into an MP3 file or WAV file, whatever you want. If you're putting this online, like on Soundcloud or YouTube, WAV file would probably be the best, because that's the highest quality audio file you're going to get. But like I said, guys, this isn't a concrete way of making music. You're obviously going to want to get a program like FL Studio, which is actually meant for making elaborate music. But for the time being, if you're just trying to get your portfolio started, if you want to start being an artist, this is the best way to start making your music. Just take your time with it. Make sure that you learn as much as you can about EQ and compression, because what I said in this video isn't all there is to know about it. But like I said, I have a vocal processing tutorial. Click the eye icon up there and it'll take you to that tutorial. I go more in depth about making your vocals sound professional, and you can apply all of that to Audacity. So check that out. Make sure you download the free ebook. Link is in the description. Make sure to check out my social media, especially my Instagram. I'm going to be posting this tutorial on there as well. Make sure you check out my music. I got my music on Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, SoundCloud, YouTube. Anywhere that you listen to your music, you can find me. Check out all the stuff that I've been doing. And if you have any questions, make sure you DM me on Instagram or leave a comment or anything like that, and I'll get back to you. Make sure to comment down below what artist is your biggest inspiration. I'd love to know, guys. And who knows, maybe we listen to the same artist. So leave a like, subscribe for more videos like this. Thank you guys for watching so much, and I'll see you in the next video. Remember, don't be afraid to show your genius.
Wanna grow up, grow up, grow up. Just waiting on that come up, blow up. I don't wanna grow up, grow up, grow up. Just take me to the top already and keep me steady. Would you ever blink? Would you ever know?